Hi all, this is TK here from Echo MTG. We're proud to announce the new TCGplayer Pro Store application called PriceAutomator. We're excited to announce this, and we're going to show you how it works and how to get started. So the first thing you're wanting to do is you're going to want to register. I already have an account, so I'm just going to log in. And the first screen you get is a dashboard. This dashboard should have all zeros, unlike mine, because I've already been connected. But you'll see this really important button right here, and that's the first thing you want to do is click this button. And you're going to need to authorize your app with TCGplayer. So what you want to be to do is logged into your store seller account with TCGplayer, and then you can click this link here, or you can copy and paste it. And then it loads this up, and you see the application name, the description, and the developer name. What you want to do is click authorize, and that's going to generate a 6 numerical mixed character code, and you're going to copy that. So once I copy that, I'm going to jump back over to my app, and I'm going to enter in that code, and then just hit connect. And it takes a second, and it should refresh, and if you're connected, you're going to see a dashboard. And at this stage, I was already synced with my inventory, so your inventory, depending on how much inventory you have, may take a little bit to sync for the first time. While that's syncing, what you can do is check out custom rules and automation settings. So there's two levels of plans here, and depending on how many inventory items you have will determine that, but I'm just going to walk you through the second level tier plan. What you have access to is automation settings. So what's cool here is that it'll take your whole inventory, and you can choose to be aggressive, safe, or passive. That's going to adjust your price based on the market price. So if you choose aggressive, you're going to be lower than the market. That means you sell faster. If you choose safe, you're going to be market, and passive, you're going to be a little bit above the market price. There's also bulk settings you can set over here for rares, uncommons, and commons. There's also bulk settings for foils you can set. So basically what this does is it sets the floor of what the bare minimum is. So if you have a mythic listed, right now my mythic is not going to be any less than $1.78 based on the applied rules. You can also make a modifier here, which this modifier will adjust 3% either positive or negative. So I could put negative for 3% or 3% positive. I could also make this like 2%. And what it'll do is, to not have an exact price in the market, it'll tweak your price just a little bit to be different from everybody else. Over here is also a threshold notice, which means that you can set a limit on if a card has changed a certain percent, it'll ignore it. So that way, say you had a card and the market price for it tanked 40%, and you don't want to sell that card at that rate, you can set up this threshold limit here, and you can toggle that on with these buttons here. At any point you make a change, you can hit save, and it'll update you and tell you saved. So moving on, we'll show you that you can also set up custom rules. So in custom rules, you're going to see your base automation on top, and then you'll see the different custom rules set up below. So we're going to add a rule here, and I'm just going to call this rule, as the example says, revised cards. And you can put notes here too if you want, so you can remember. So I'm going to hit save, and it just creates the revised cards rule. So when you're in here, it's a similar interface to the base automation settings we just saw, but it gives you a little more options to filter. So I can choose revised edition, and that's the only filter I want. I can also do filters that change if the card's above this or below that, etc. I can edit my notes. I can edit the rule name. So I'm going to want to save that, and you'll see a little pop-up that lets you know it's saved. You can also then set the same type of automation settings for those particular cards that it's going after. And if you notice, there's bulk settings, same stuff here. If there's no foils, this will just be ignored. There's other things to do here as well. So if you want this rule to be applied, you're going to want to just toggle it on here, and you'll get a little response saying revised card rule is turned on. All right, so how do you know things are actually working? Well, you want to run a simulation. So if you notice, we have the rules here. Now, rules are applied in a waterfall state, so that because some rules may overextend beyond a rule before it. And you could change the order by those rules by like dragging them like this. Then I'll update the rule numbers. So after the rules are good to go, you can run a simulation. And if you notice that it's running through all our inventory here, and it's showing you when the check is done. It can happen pretty quick. If you have a big inventory, this will happen a little bit slower. So once the inventory, the simulation has been ran, you can click View Affected SKUs, and it's going to show you the SKUs that are affected here and what the differences are. So prices that don't change within 1% in the market aren't going to adjust in your scenario. So when prices do change, it'll show up in green or red here, and that kind of shows you what the rule is and how it is affecting. And you can see the rules go below. You can even see that I have no revised cards listed, so nothing happens here. So once I'm comfortable with how the rules are set up and how it looks, I can then turn my automation on. And then at this point, that is what requires you to put your credit card in. So when I'm ready, I just click this here, and you get this little pop-up, and then you can pop your credit card in and get going. So based on your inventory, it's going to suggest a package for you. And in this package, then it'll show you how much it is per month, and you click Add Payment, and then your automated starts. And automation happens depending on the plan level, which you can look at our plans page. For plans above the basic, it happens 4 times a day. And it syncs your inventory and checks to see if there's been a fluctuation in price, and automatically updates your price 4 times a day. On the small basic plan, it does it once a day, and that's at midnight. The 4 times a day are every 4 hours, and based on East Coast, it's 11 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 7 o'clock, and then 11 p.m. again. So that's PriceAutomator. You can write to us at support@priceautomator.pro. The domain is priceautomator.pro, and happy to have you guys reach out, and would love to answer your questions.